Welcome to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast, your weekly news roundup of hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories from around the Gem State. Hosted by Fish and Game's Public Information Specialist, Connor J. Lease.
And welcome back to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. This week, we're talking about why y'all should know CAP, a chance to serve on the Citizen Shooting Range Advisory Committee, and a prehistoric dinosaur fish native to Idaho. And no, it's not a sturgeon. But first, oil up them boots and dust off the shotgun. Upland game bird season is back, and here's what you can expect to find this fall. Idaho, with one of the most rugged landscapes in the Union, offers a ton of upland game bird hunting opportunities. Whether you find yourself in the high mountain timber or the lowland sagebrush steppe, there's a good chance you're in upland bird country. Upland game birds are sensitive to environmental factors like temperature and precipitation, and often vary in number from year to year. Oftentimes, these can be very localized, so hunters may not see the same impact in other parts of the state. Because of this, it's difficult to provide a forecast across the board. However, Idaho Fish and Game's Upland Game and Migratory Game Bird Coordinator, Jeff Knetter, says last year's mild winter juxtaposed by this summer's lack of water could be tough to determine just how upland hunting will be come September. Speaking of last year, Knetter added that chukar and gray partridge saw historic 25-year highs in harvest according to hunter surveys. That's excellent news if you're an upland bird dog or a hunter, and depending on how the rest of summer and early fall shakes out, we very well could see some of last year's productivity carry into the season. Overall, habitat conditions should be in good shape, and there should be an abundance of insects for brood rearing. Because of drought conditions, birds will likely concentrate around water sources, particularly early in the season. There's ample opportunity for upland hunters to pursue a wide variety of birds across diverse landscapes in Idaho, and upland birds in some areas will have fared better than others, depending on localized conditions. To provide an idea of what's available this hunting season, Fish and Game's wildlife biologists in each region compiled an overview of upland game birds in their necks of the woods, so hunters can get a look at their favorite areas and quarry. To find places to hunt upland game, check out our Hunting Access webpage, which includes Fish and Game's wildlife management areas, or our WMAs, and Access Yes properties. And to learn more about upland game bird hunting rules and seasons, and more information in general, see our Upland Bird Hunting webpage. Be sure to pick up a copy of the 2024 through 2025 Upland Game, Fur Bear, and Turkey Seasons and Rules booklet from all Fish and Game office and license vendors, as well as digitally on our website. That's all I got on upland game. Let's do a deep dive on dinosaur noodles. There's a prehistoric creature inhabiting the Clearwater and Salmon River systems. It's called the Pacific Lamprey. These critters have lived in these waters for over 400 million years. This means that they were around before the age of dinosaurs. Let that sink in for a sec. Pacific lamprey have a fascinating life history, somewhat like other anadromous fish such as salmon and steelhead. They begin their life in freshwater as tiny little eggs with over 100,000 siblings from a single female. The eggs are then fertilized by a male Pacific lamprey. This spawning process occurs in a redde, or a nest in the gravel where female Pacific lamprey lays eggs, just like salmon and steelhead. Once the eggs hatch, thousands of tiny worm-like creatures emerge and begin their life by embedding themselves in fine, sandy sediment up to 6 inches deep, where they stay for 3 to 7 years. During their time embedded in the stream, they filter feed similar to how mussels filter the water and feed on the particles within it. You can think of these little guys as part of the cleanup crews in our rivers. During this time, they are only a few inches long and lack eyes. Like salmon and steelhead, when they reach a certain size, they decide it is time to go to the ocean. Then they develop eyes and begin to form their teeth. The total length of a Pacific lamprey at this stage in development is typically 6 inches or longer. During this transformation, they completely change how they eat, and once they have reached the ocean, they begin a parasitic lifestyle. Lamprey will attach themselves onto fish with their newly formed teeth and suck the blood from their host. They typically stay in the ocean for 1 to 3 years before they head back to where their life started to spawn. When Pacific lamprey return from the ocean, they range in size from a foot to a little over 2 feet in length. Like salmon, Pacific lamprey do not eat while returning to their spawning ground. Pacific lampreys have been seen to shrink 20% during their time in the rivers before spawning. Once they have completed spawning, they croak just like salmon do. Very little is truly known about Pacific lamprey due to their elusive lifestyle. However, this doesn't mean that they don't play a vital role environmentally and culturally. Pacific lampreys play a crucial role in our environment just like salmon and steelhead do. Here's what I mean. When they return to the rivers to spawn, they bring nutrients back from the ocean and release them when they die. These nutrients are used by living organisms and increase productivity in those streams. Many of these organisms are sources of food for fish. Aquatic species are not the only ones benefiting from these nutrients, though. Terrestrial species eat Pacific lamprey or other anadromous fish and spread their nutrients across the landscape through urine and feces. These nutrients can then be used by the plants along the landscape, which will help them grow. Pacific lampreys play a huge part in the culture of Native American tribes. Pacific lamprey were a major source of food for the native tribes. Tribes from across the western United States would travel each year towards the Pacific coast to collect lamprey to eat. They collected them along waterfalls and other rocky structures as Pacific lamprey returned to the rivers. The tribes preserve the harvested Pacific lamprey to eat throughout the year. The reason why Pacific lamprey are so prized as a food source is because they are incredibly high in fats and protein. The oils from their bodies are even considered to have medicinal purposes. Unfortunately, Pacific lamprey numbers have declined along with salmon and steelhead since the installation of the dams on the Snake and Columbia River. Pacific lamprey have a hard time using fish ladders at those dams. This is because the fish ladders having a 90-degree corner which lamprey cannot move around. Alternative fish ladders have been created for Pacific lamprey passage, though. These ladders take advantage of their ability to climb using their suction cup mouths. In addition to these ladders, several Columbia River Basin tribes have been recently relocating Pacific lamprey collected at dams to place upstream, including in Idaho. This will help keep our salmon and steelhead streams healthy and productive. Pacific lamprey are an alternative food source for species that prey upon salmon and steelhead. And if you like catching these fish, Pacific lamprey are an incredible asset to you. So, if you enjoyed that article, shout out to fisheries technician Ethan Markland up in Salmon. I love seeing these blog-style articles pop up on our website, which is where you can head to see all kinds of photos of lampreys and their freaky little mouths. There's even one super old black and white photo in Ethan's article that shows so many dang lamprey. I swear to God, it looks like spaghetti noodles falling off a forklift pallet. So, go check it out. Hit the link below. Next up, we're talking about the most important phone number you should have saved in your contacts before heading out to the woods this fall. With fall hunting seasons happening, Idaho Fish and Game is asking folks to call the Citizens Against Poaching Hotline, or CAP, at 1-800-632-5999 if they witness a violation of fish and game laws. So write that down right now, 1-800-632-5999. People are also encouraged to add that number to your cell phones so it's always on hand. Callers to the CAP hotline can report anonymously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Cash rewards are available to callers who provide information leading to the citation of a suspected wildlife law violator. People can also file an anonymous report online. Folks are encouraged to make as complete a description as possible of people and the vehicles involved and report it as quickly as possible. License plate numbers are extremely useful, as well as detailed information including exact location, time, and a description of the suspects. Here's our interim chief of enforcement, Joey Ishida.
Idaho conservation officers request assistance from the public to apprehend those violating fish and game laws. We can't be everywhere at once, so we need help protecting Idaho's fish and wildlife.
CAP has been an important resource to catching poachers. During the past 5 years, CAP annually received an average of 1,465 calls from the public, resulting in an average of 100 citations, with over $31,560 being paid in reward money to the public.
We'd like to apprehend those violating fish and game laws. Only make the call if you feel safe to do so. Be discreet when taking pictures or recording the violation, but do not confront people directly or otherwise endanger yourself.
If you're curious what CAP rewards look like for different animals, here's what we got. $250 for small game, including birds, fish, license violations, and fur bearers. $400 for deer, elk, antelope, bear, wolf, salmon, steelhead, swan, turkey, and mountain lions. $700 for bighorn sheep, mountain goat, moose, grizzly bear, caribou, and sturgeon. If you want to learn more about our CAP hotline, hit the link below or in the description of this here podcast. All right, moving on to talk about Idaho's large Tracts program. Parcels enrolled in Idaho's large Tracts program can change ownership at any time. Hunters, anglers, and recreationists should never assume last season's access is still valid this season. So always confirm land status before your trip by checking the Idaho Hunt Planner on our website. Idahoans are fortunate. 2/3 of our land is public, but many valuable and publicly accessible hunting and recreation areas in the Panhandle and Clearwater regions specifically are private, working timberlands enrolled in the large Tracts program. Since 2019, this partnership has opened over 900,000 acres to you, the public. Because these parcels are private, working timberlands, sales, transfers, and restrictions can and do occur. Ownership can change and access can change, so don't assume. Make sure you check before you go. Fish and Game is doing a ton of work, including routinely communicating with the public about rules associated with large tract parcels, partnering with timberland owners to update maps with closures, restrictions, and land transfers before, during, and after hunting seasons. They're also working with hunting app developers to incorporate consistent and accurate maps, and working with the public and partners to identify errors and quickly make corrections. Our COs are also enforcing motorized restrictions and educating hunters about restrictions and closures. Remember, access to large tract parcels is a privilege made possible through partnership. So your diligence helps keep these opportunities available for everyone. That's it for major stories this week. Let's hit the rapid fire bulletin. Idaho Power's Cottonwood Campground at CJ Strike Reservoir will be closed from September 8th through October 31st while the company installs new docks. Replacing the existing structures with new floating docks is the latest phase of a multi-year upgrade project designed to improve facilities for visitors. The new floating docks are intended to better withstand changing water levels at the reservoir, as well as the frequent waves driven by windy conditions out there. Reservoir access is still available at North Park and Jacks Creek East. Campers or day-use visitors to CJ Strike can find more information at idahopower.com/camping. Idaho Fish and Game is seeking a volunteer representative to serve on the Citizens Shooting Range Advisory Committee. This is a 2-year term with potential reappointment at the discretion of the Fish and Game Director. The committee consists of 7 members, 1 from each Fish and Game region. This year's application is seeking representatives from the Southwest and Nampa, Southeast and Pocatello, and Salmon regions. Eligible candidates should regularly use public shooting ranges and understand the elements necessary for safe range operation. The deadline to apply is November 10th. Get ready for pheasant hunting season with a Fish and Game hosted youth pheasant hunt on Saturday, October 4th in Salmon. Designed for youth ages 10 to 17, the event will take place from 8:30 in the morning to 4 p.m. Youth participants must have a valid hunting license or hunting passport and be accompanied by an adult for the entire day. Ammunition is provided, as well as youth model shotguns if needed. That's pretty neat. For more information, contact Crystal Smith at 509-671-3203. That's all the news we have for this week, folks. Thanks for putting an ear to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin. If there's something on your mind, or if you got a question related to Fish and Game matters, feel free to drop us a line at podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Again, that's podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week.